Hi everyone. It is a good feeling to belong, to be part of a group or a family, and to feel that they think like you and they behave admirably. I recall a strong feeling like that one summer assembly that I was at when I was still in my teens. And I remember feeling, while I stood with all these witnesses singing a kingdom song, that we were a good group, that we all belonged to the right group. And I knew many witnesses. I grew up around witnesses. I admired them, and I loved them. I still love them. I trusted them. I know that they are where they are the same way I was there, because I trusted that what I was told was true. And so I just wanted to read to you a portion from C.S. Lewis's book, The Four Loves, on friendship, because he talks about the potential dangers of belonging to a group and having those feelings. He says, a circle of friends cannot, of course, oppress the outer world as a powerful social class can, but it is subject, on its own scale, to the same danger. It can come to treat as outsiders in a general and derogatory sense those who are quite properly outsiders for a particular purpose. Thus, like an aristocracy, it can create around it a vacuum across which no voice will carry. Whatever faults the circle has, and no circle is without them, thus becomes incurable. But that is not all. The partial and defensible deafness was based on some kind of superiority, even if it were only a superior knowledge about stamps. The sense of superiority will then get itself attached to the total deafness. The group will disdain as well as ignore those outside it. It will in effect have turned itself into something very like a class, a self-appointed aristocracy. I wanted to continue because what he talks about is the friendship that exists between Christians as well. Here he says, for a Christian, there are, strictly speaking, no chances. A secret master of ceremonies has been at work. Christ, who said to the disciples, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you," can truly say to every group of Christian friends, "You have not chosen one another, but I have chosen you for one another." The friendship is not a reward for our discrimination and good taste in finding one another out. It is the instrument by which God reveals to each the beauties of all the others. They are no greater than the beauties of 1,000 other men. By friendship, God opens our eyes to them. They are, like all beauties, derived from Him, and then in a good friendship increased by Him through the friendship itself, so that it is His instrument for creating as well as for revealing. At this feast, it is He who has spread the board, and it is He who has chosen the guests. It is He, we may dare to hope, who sometimes does and always should preside. Let us not reckon without our host. How do we know a good fellowship? I would say look to the host. Do the guests regard the host, Christ? Do they listen and obey the host, Christ? Sometimes we ourselves are the problem because we are not listening to the host. We're listening to each other. So who do we listen to and who do we obey? I wanted to read a passage from John 15. Christ is speaking to his chosen ones, and he calls them friends, but he talks about what they need to do. This is just prior to his death. He says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me, and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given you. This is my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. For everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command: love each other. I'm going to link to two videos. One is based on Ray Franz's book, In Search of Christian Freedom, where we did a reading, and it's called Ray Franz, RJW's In Christ, Vitally Linked to the Vine, Are the Governing Body. The second one is part one of a series that David and I did called Slaves of Men. It's the 5 characteristics of cultic groups.